Very well, Arsenal fans. Sterling, Insigne, and a lot of other players linked with Arsenal. So we're gonna talk about that. Of course, we all know that how Lorenzo Insigne might be leaving Napoli on a free transfer if he does not sign a new deal with Napoli. Of course, you might see a lot of speculations, but hey, Napoli with the new manager is they're doing fantastically good. Luciano Spalletti, I guess, if I'm not wrong, top of the table, not lost a single game, performing like they are really a mad team. Love them, especially with the what they're doing with all the Italian talents that what they've got. I think their attacking is superb since Spalletti has joined in as well. So one thing I would want to say is that this whole Insigne rumors will definitely shut down very soon. But what about Raheem Sterling? Let's talk about it, man. Because Harry Pratt says, well, he's got an explanation as to why he's come up with the news in the first place. So, Arsenal, it looks like, are keeping a close watch on Raheem Sterling. Well, it looks like Raheem Sterling's contract talks at Manchester City is somewhat not, in the best interest. So here's what the news is all about. So Harry Pratt says Arteta is a huge admirer of the England winger and had an excellent relationship with him during his days as Pep Guardiola's number two. Sterling, with only 20 months left on his current deal, is one of those at the top of North Londoners' list of potential transfer targets. Raheem Sterling, relatively, could be a much more, of course, a well-established option, someone who could get success quicker, someone who could really adapt quicker on that left wing role. Will that be the right case? Let's see. But Saka had a knock yesterday, so Mikel Arteta addressed Saka's injury as well. He says he's fine, he got a knock, but he should be fine. This guy Cucurella had a mad performance yesterday. But talking about Sambi Lokonga, Mikel Arteta said, I think he did really well. I think he had one of the best performances from the players on the pitch. He shows a lot of character and all the time good positions. I think his defensive work and understanding is getting better. I think it was a really difficult game because it was all the time one versus one duels all over the pitch, and it's not the game that really suits him the most. But I think under circumstances he did really well. Arteta was asked if we needed a character like Ramsdale. Arteta says the way we decided to recruit Aaron was going through a big process where we wanted to know a lot about his personality, character, the way he can handle playing under pressure at a big club. He's showing he's ready to do that. I'm really happy with his performances and what he's bringing. That's one of the reasons I think defensively we have been really difficult to concede goals. And talking about Takehiro Tomiyasu, Takehiro was not happy with the way things have been yesterday. So Take said, I'm not happy with the result, but I have to think positively about the 1 point because they controlled the game most of the time. We will take 1 point. I'm not happy with the result, but we have to be positive. So one thing was pretty much clear that Takehiro was not happy with the result. He said that multiple times, but it's understood why he wasn't happy. But talking about Ben White, tweeted out this image with the caption, another clean sheet. It's actually mad. It's actually really mad that how we are keeping clean sheets. Talking about the draw, here's what Jack Wilshere had to say about Emil Smith Rowe. Jack says, he's a player that I really like. He came into the team really last year and sort of made the position his. But I think this season, even in the bad results, he was the one player, the one shining light. Smith Rowe carries the ball so well in that transition from defense to attack. He's crucial to how this team wants to play. But talking about Ramsdale, here's what he had to say about the game. He says, the collective and personal performance has to be better if we are going to get where we want to. We can take positives out of today. It's not all doom and gloom. It's a gritty result. We could have easily crumbled and let Brighton get the win, but we showed heart and passion and were resolute. We turned a corner with four great good results, and you can start to see a structure of the team, one that is gelling together on the training pitch and off the pitch and on the pitch. So I think that's the best way to sum up, man. That's exactly the best way to sum up what exactly happened in that game. So talking about more stuff, Arteta says I think it was a good, it was a point gained because I don't think we deserved anything more than that. We never felt in control of the game, struggled to break the press, and they made it really tough for us. Really, Brighton played a fantastic brand of football, but Gabriel Magalhaes lost his tooth. Yes, he lost his tooth. this time and last season also lost his tooth against Brighton at the MX as well. He was searching after the game. It looks like he did not find it, so he just posted an image with a dentist who fixed his unbelievable man. He fixed his tooth. That's really crazy, isn't it? But Paul Merson was asked, if Aston Villa will finish above Arsenal. Merson said, no, no, no. Arsenal might finish in the top four, yet have faith. Well, apparently Gary Neville also spoke good about Arsenal. He says, I would, just listen to it carefully what he said. He says, I would never, and if I was being serious and not joking with someone, not have Arsenal Football Club in the top 6 clubs in the country and top 4 clubs in this country in terms of tradition, history, and honors. So that's what it's all about, man. That's all it's all about. It's all about mutual respect and understanding what this club is all about. But a lot of people actually counter argue by saying that, oh, it's all history, it's all tradition. Shut up. Shut up. Like, nobody wants to even think of buying into the premise of what you want to say in the first place. So, how beautiful and how important was this save? Imagine going into the international break, 14, 15 days out when Arsenal play next. No European football in the midweek. And everyone talking about how Neil Maupay made it 1-0. And this GIF being, pulled over on and on and on from the Brighton fans. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up, Neil Maupay. Well, talking about more stuff, it looks like Crystal Palace could swoop in for none other than Alex Lacazette. Where it looks like 90 minutes have reported that Palace are among a number of clubs keeping tabs on the French international as his contract runs down at the Emirates Stadium. One of those clubs, but it's tough, man. I mean, come on. Lacazette earns like 180k a week, and you're thinking that Lacazette 180k a week. Wilfred Zaha is their highest earner with 130k a week. Unbelievable to think that if that could even. I don't think so it's going to happen, because former Premier League star Carlton Palmer believes Patrick Vieira's connection with Arsenal could see him sign Lacazette. He says it's always a possibility because of Patrick Vieira's connection to Arsenal, but on the money he's being paid, and the money that Crystal Palace pay and the money they will be offered, I think that's an unlikely scenario. But you never know. You never know what? That Crystal Palace can't afford Lacazette? Oh, you know when a club cannot afford a player, man. Lucas Torreira's agent has spoken about, he's made a transfer admission recently, so let's talk about it. Pablo Bentancur has recently stated that there were a fair few clubs fighting to acquire Lucas Torreira, with Napoli one of them. He says, interest of Napoli, yes, there were the Azzurri as well as other clubs. However, we wanted a project and we knew Daniel Prade from the time at Sampdoria. They made Torreira feel immediately important. I think that was a bigger key for Lucas Torreira to select, Fiorentina, because it had the same manager who was employed at Sampdoria. So I think all he wants to do is just wants to feel important. That's all that Lucas Torreira wants at the moment. So he got that at Fiorentina. So let's talk about. So one point in Gabriel Magalhaes' interview which we forgot, he says that it's a key factor why he decided to come to Arsenal instead of Manchester United. He says, I'd always dreamt of playing in the Premier League, and everyone knows Arsenal as one of the top clubs in the world. It's true that Manchester United were also interested, but I was always focused on joining Arsenal. The fans sent some messages in the build-up, and that was very important in my decision. Having been here for some time now, and I'm certain I made the right decision, I'm very happy here. I've made some fantastic friendships, and I hope we can win some trophies. Lovely. So, are you telling me that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was not potent enough to convince Gabriel Magalhaes into a project at Manchester United? Crazy. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So with this, I'd like to end this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want, I've already posted it on my community tab. Go check out my Arsenal career mode on my second channel, the FIFA content that is coming up on that channel. So go check it out. Consider subscribing on that channel. Yep. If you seek FIFA content, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.